Hello and welcome to another episode of Clark and Addison, Born into the Ivy. I'm your host, David Butler, and boy am I excited for today. Not only am I excited to do the episode, but I'm headed to Chicago later to attend the rubber match of the Cardinals at the Cubs. Ready to watch our Cubbies win the series against St. Louis. Needless to say, I am doing the Sunday podcast early and before the game because I will be traveling back home late Sunday night and will have an early day for work on Monday. There is only one more week left before the All-Star break. This week the Cubs are 4-1. They swept the Guardians earlier this week and took the opening game before dropping the game on Saturday against the Cardinals. During the current 35 games portion that was against 500 teams or better, the Cubs are now 27 games into that stretch and they are 14-13. One of those games was rained out against the Brewers, so it will end up being 34 games. They will need to finish strong, but frankly, I just want them to break even on this road trip to end the first half of the season. Go 3-3, and that would be amazing. I think they can win 2 in Minnesota, but I also think they could be able to pull off 2 in the Bronx to end the first half. In today's episode, we will recap the last week of games, have a preview for the Minnesota series, highlight a draft prospect that could be available when the Cubs pick in the third round, and talk about some more trade targets for starting pitcher and third base. We're really not going to rehash all of those. Nothing's new, but we are just going to touch on that. Remember, the best way to help grow the podcast is to listen to every episode, like the episode, share the episode with your friends, and if you have not yet, make sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Join our Facebook and Instagram groups at Clark and Addison, Born into the Ivy. Monday, the Cubs were off, but on Tuesday, Matthew Boyd took the mound against his former team from last season, and frankly, just looked really good throughout the game. Bush started the scoring in the second, driving in PCA on an RBI single. Then, still in the second, Carson Kelly doubled to left field, scoring Swanson and Bush to put the Cubs up 3-0. In the top of the fourth, the Guardians scored on an RBI single off Nolan Jones, scoring Carlos Santana. Then Angel Martinez hit another single, scoring Lane Thomas. Seiya Suzuki hit a solo shot in the sixth, making it 4-2. Boyd ended up going 7 innings of 2 runs and 5 hits allowed. A very good outing. In the bottom of the eighth, Carson Kelly hit a sac fly, scoring Swanson to end the scoring and making it 5-2. Cubs win. Wednesday's game saw the Guardians hit a few home runs early off of Shota Imanaga. Carlos Santana and Lane Thomas hit solo shots in the second, and then David Fry hit a solo homer in the third, making it 3-0. Then in the bottom of the third, Suzuki hit a double, scoring Ian Happ. Then PCA hit a single to score Kyle Tucker, making it 3-2. In the fourth, the Cubs scored again on a Seiya Suzuki single, driving in Matt Shaw and Kyle Tucker. Then PCA hit a triple, driving in Seiya to make it 5-3. Then no one else scored until the ninth, when Steven Kwan hit a sac fly, scoring Angel Martinez, making it 5-4. But the Cubs hold on to win, with that as the final score. Thursday's game was quite the pitcher's duel. The Guardians ended up having kind of a bullpen game after calling up Joey Cantillo, a left-handed pitcher who has been stretched out into a starter in AAA, but pitched very well. He was being stretched out, so he wasn't completely stretched yet. The Cubs countered with Cade Horton, who pitched his best game of his short ML career so far. He went 7 strong innings, walking 2, giving up 5 hits, and striking out 5. Chris Flexen got the win as the game went into extras, and the Cubs won on a walk-off sac fly from Matt Shaw. He hit the ball hard, scoring Nico Horner to win the game. An incredible moment for the young man, his second walk-off of the season. Friday, the Cubs welcomed St. Louis and Miles Michaelis to Wrigley Field for the first time in 2025 on Independence Day, and set a franchise record by hitting 8 home runs, 2 from PCA and 3 from Michael Busch. It was the third time that a Cub player has hit 3 home runs off the St. Louis Cardinals in a game. All 3 have been on Independence Day. Isn't that crazy? Dansby Swanson, Carson Kelly, and Seiya Suzuki each hit a solo shot as well as the Cubs cruised to an 11-3 win. Colin Ray pitched a very good game, keeping the Cardinals at bay through 6 2/3 innings. Saturday was a back-and-forth affair as the Cardinals jumped out to a 2-0 lead after the first. The Cubs scored in the second, but then each team scored one in the fourth frame, making it 3-2 in favor of the Cardinals. In the sixth, though, the Cubs took the lead, scoring two. Then Carson Kelly made it a 5-3 in the seventh with a solo shot. Alec Burleson then hit a solo shot in the eighth, starting off a 5-run rally by the Cardinals to make it 8-5. The Cubs were able to get one run back in the eighth, but came up short for the game 8-6. Cardinals even the series 1-1. Monday, the Cubs have an off day, and then Tuesday, the Cubs travel to Minnesota. They head to Minnesota to take on the Twins. Going into Sunday, Minnesota is 6-4 in their last 10 and have won 2 in a row against the Rays. They are 43-46 for the season, but 24-17 at home. The Twins pitching staff owns a 4.23 ERA at home this season, which is 21st in the majors. The relievers are a little worse than their starters with this. The pitching staff is led by starter Joe Ryan with a 2.75 ERA, and the relievers are led by Louis Verland, a 2.01 ERA, Danny Colombe, a .76 ERA, and closer Johan Duran at 1.64 ERA, and having converted 13 saves so far this season. Their offense averages 4.48 runs per game at home, and is led by Byron Buxton, who has an 880 OPS, and Willie Castro, yes, that Willie Castro that I think we should try and trade for, who has an OPS of 797. Unfortunately, I do not have complete pitching matchups yet, but I will try and do a quick preview on them Monday evening. It does look tentatively like we might miss Joe Ryan, though. On Friday, it was announced that Jameson Taillon was not going to be pitching this series or for the foreseeable future as he went to the injured list on Friday the 4th, but that was retroactive to July 1st, after an MRI showed a moderate strain on his right calf, which was injured while he was running after a bullpen session on Thursday the 3rd. He is expected to be out about a month, but I'm going to say this. Most of the announcements and expected time missed is generally a little too conservative or a little too liberal for what actually happened. So I would expect him to be out over a month, probably a month and a half, maybe even up to 2 months. The Cubs have got to be very active on the trade market. And we'll talk about that again here a little more. Miguel Amaya, still with his left oblique strain, is now doing normal batting practice, catching bullpens and throwing. Last week it was said that he might be getting closer to game action, but counsel said this week that he is still a little ways away from being game ready. Eli Morgan did get that second opinion and got positive feedback. He has resumed throwing, but there is absolutely no timetable right now for him. Javier Assad remains in the bullpen session throwing phase as of July 5th, but live BP will be the next step. Just not sure when that will happen. A possible return in August at some point is the tentative outlook. Other transactions and notes. Chris Flexen. I'm going to say this again. Should Chris Flexen get a chance to start? With a Taillon injury, Jordan Wicks was called up and he has been pitching very well at AAA. Jordan has been dominant in his last 5 games. Started, giving up 3 earned runs and 16 in the third innings. He isn't pitching a ton of innings in each start, but if I were to speculate, they are trying to ensure he stays healthy as well, as he might be trade bait. He also has 20 strikeouts in that span versus 3 walks. He started the season very rough, but seems to be pitching at his best right now. I would argue, though, that we should try and start or have him coming out of the bullpen so that Flexen gets a chance to start. This guy has been absolutely amazing, has done everything asked of him, and deserves a chance to be a starter right now. I think it kind of looks like that they've been trying to stretch him out a little bit here recently. Anyways, but The only thing he's not doing consistently is striking batters out, and he never really has done that, guys. I mean, his strikeout rate percentage is at the lowest that it's probably ever been, at 13.9%. But so is his opposing batting average at 175. His FIP is 3.58. It's not like this is a fluke. The guy is really good, and I would say that his FIP is as high as it is at 3.58, which is not high, but because his strikeout rate is as low as it is. And it just makes it harder to sustain some of that. I get that, but he has kept hitters off balance all season. He has 32 and 2/3 innings. It's not like it's an incredibly small sample size anymore. He deserves a legit chance at becoming a part of the rotation. And if it comes to somebody being the odd man out, we're not sure who it is. If it's him or Colin Ray, I know I've been banging this drum for a minute, but I truly think that Colin Ray is the guy who needs to be the odd man out. I'm not advocating for Ray to go. I think we don't make that decision between these two until we absolutely have to. And I obviously mean Jed Hoyer and Carter Hawkins and Craig Counsell. But you want to try and keep both of these guys because both of these guys have shown flashes of greatness. But Ray has shown that he is hittable. I think Flexen is probably hittable too, but Flexen has been far more consistent with his pitching and the greatness of it. So those are my thoughts. I'll get back off that bandwagon now. Positional breakdown. I thought it'd be fun to kind of go over the different positions: catcher, infielders, outfielders, and who's been excelling, who needs a little more help and that stuff. The catchers have been phenomenal this year, guys. Carson Kelly, as a group, Carson Kelly, Miguel Amaya, and Reese McGuire. These guys have been phenomenal. McGuire has the worst OPS of them all, and his is 769. Amaya at 819, and Kelly's is back up to 879. I was pretty critical of Carson Kelly about 3 weeks to a month ago, but lately he's been heating up again and is crushing the ball. Frankly, so is McGuire. The infield, a group of Michael Bush, Nico Horner, Dansby Swanson, and Matt Shaw offensively hasn't been lighting the scoreboard up as a group, but they have been playing excellent defense and definitely helped contribute to the offensive prowess of the team. Bush has been the exception here with an OPS of 939. Folks, that leads the team and is frankly star territory. He has quietly been absolutely crushing the ball. He's a bit streaky, but man, is he on fire. And just for, not just right now, for the season. Swanson has an OPS of 735, which is very respectable, but I think we'd like to see it just a little bit higher. Horner is a unique player, as you can't always judge what he's doing by his OPS. He rarely strikes out, only 6.9% this season, but his OPS is 700. He does very well in the clutch, though. It's hard to quantify what he does, but the eye test says he's doing what he needs to be doing and doing it very well. Matt Shaw was firing on all cylinders when he was first called back up in May. Driving the ball consistently, but he still wasn't really pulling the ball for power at all. His OPS for the season is 586. June was almost identical to what March and April was in OPS, but his strikeout rate did come down. Unfortunately, so did his walk rate, though, as well. He's playing great defense most of the time, and that's keeping him on the roster right now. I still think that the Cubs need to get someone like Amand Rosario or Willie Castro and let them play against the very tough righties, a la the Paul Skeens or Zach Wheelers of the league, and against lefties, and let Matt Shaw continue to work it out. I think it's worth noting that Shaw does have an OPS of 725 on the road this season. He's definitely pressing at home, and that's certainly not unheard of for a young player. He's going to be fine as long as he's given a chance to be. The talent is there, and I firmly believe that. Outfielders, what can you say about these four as a group? They've been amazing. Kyle Tucker with an OPS of 901, PCA at 860, Seiya at 870, and Ian Happ at 717. Only Happ, can you really argue, probably can be doing more offensively. He has always been streaky, and he really struggled to start the year. He's kind of back in a funk, but he draws a lot of walks and definitely helps contribute still, offensively and defensively. I don't think it's a secret that we need him to step up even more, though, as we try to challenge for the division. The other three have been absolutely amazing offensively. But let's not forget how great the regular three outfielders are in the outfield. And really, Sale has been. He's had, I can think of one, maybe two games where it was a little more suspect, and I know he hasn't played a ton of defense, but they've all been pretty darn good. This team overall has been really good defensively, and I don't think that can be understated. It's been a huge part of the pitching because we don't throw a lot of strikeouts. The pitching staff doesn't strike out a ton in comparison to the rest of the league. And offense matters greatly, but the defense has been very, very, very good in the infield and the outfield. Possibilities for the Cubs to draft in the third round. I've only got one guy here because that's who I very often see them connected to. Easton Carmichael, a 21-year-old catcher from Oklahoma University. His scouting grades are as follows: hit a 50, power of 45, run is 50, arm is 50, field is 50, and overall a 45. He doesn't really stand out in any spot, but could be solid across the board. Obviously, with the JMO injury, starting pitcher is an even bigger concern now. We definitely need at least two starters in the trade market. I haven't really heard any new rumors since the last podcast, so I won't rehash some of the options currently, but this is a vital time for the team, as Jed Hoyer and Carter Hawkins works to find the right deals to lead this team and keep them relevant. Relevant's probably not the right word, but to really lead them and keep them on track where they're at. Right now, they're the second seed in the National League, and we've got to have more starting pitching, better starting pitching, especially for the playoffs, guys. I mean, our starting pitching is not nearly good enough once we get to the playoffs. And I get that I'm counting our chickens before they're hatched. But the way this offense is playing, unless they completely falter, this team definitely should make the playoffs. Don't forget to join our Facebook group at Clark and Addison, Born Into the Ivy, and our Instagram group. Leave some posts or comments in there about what you'd like to hear or what you thought about today's episode. However you subscribe to your podcast, please like and subscribe to Clark and Addison, Born Into the Ivy, so that you don't miss out on any of our future episodes. Also, if you feel so inclined, please make sure to leave a 5-star review and leave me some comments. If you are enjoying this podcast, make sure to tell and share it with any of your friends who might be a Cubs fan or a baseball fan. Have a great day, and let's go Cubs. Paisley, send them home.
Go Cubs, go!
Living on the water, counting days since last summer.